Alright, I think we got it right this time. And fade in. Okay, I gotta work on the music a little better. But we were back for episode 14 of my randomly numbered videos. And we're down back to one camera. So you see what happened last time?
I did, where it only recorded part of it.
Yeah, so I didn't have much to cut in. So I'm like, alright, I'm just gonna do a little box. Because I was still like, it just wouldn't be worth the time. Which sucks because I was like, oh, god damn it. Because at first I started watching the footage and I got real excited. I'm like, this is gonna be really fucking cool. And then I was like, oh, god damn it. So here we are at it again. Ryan's actually, we're doing this. This is our first morning session we've done. Ryan's getting ready to go to Iceland, that lucky motherfucker. But for me, this is an early morning. For Ryan, it's not. It's freaking like 10 a.m. So I've had no coffee, so he already has like plus 10-point advantage. But you'll see, despite the shoddy camera work here, Ryan has greatly improved. Just your overall tactics and strategies.
Well, I think one of the things that we saw at the end of the last time we rolled is I do like to change up levels a lot, right? I like to go high and low and move around just to kind of experiment and gauge reaction. And what I was doing last time was I was hanging out too long at one. And the other thing was my posture. I started watching a lot more videos and paying attention to the fact that these guys, even when they're pressing in or going high and low, are keeping their body upright for the most part. So I wasn't offering up the neck the way I was last time.
Yeah, I noticed that too because I was like, all right, let me try to, kind of see how that advanced for you, practice-wise. And it didn't happen at all. I mean, I got a few shitty guillotine attempts here and there, but nothing like last time. How often do you study?
Well, so Dan hears this regularly, but I basically every day, right? I come home from work and my dog's ready to play, and a dog is basically somebody that's turtled up, that's waiting for you to practice your double wrist locks on. So I'll come home, I'll watch a couple videos, and then I kind of just roll around with the dog, and it's more about reaction gauging for me, right? Like, can I move this way or can I move that way?
Yeah. One thing I try to do, I don't think I do it in the beginning, is I was trying to roll for your legs more because they're right there, and you're getting so good with ankle locks and figure fours and things like that. I kind of avoid the whole leg battle, but I kind of realize I'm then also like kind of shorting myself as a result. So towards the end, if you notice, I was going for your legs more. Yeah, and I've actually been studying, and I should have showed you this, like a real easy way to start to transition into getting better leg positions. Like when someone's down, and it's kind of like, and you'll see this position later on, like you're down on your back, I'm not in your guard, but I kind of control your feet. And one way is, like, literally, if your foot's right here, I just take it and spin around on it just to try to get that position.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, like right here, like I'd actually work my way to one side and just spin around on your leg and just go for like a knee bar or something. But obviously, it's you're like a bull in a china shop. It's easier said than done. I need to find like a 90-pound person to build my ego up. But the one thing I was happy too, like you did a lot more just like dickhead moves, which I love. Just because it's more real, like just like neck cranks and digging elbows into things and stuff like that. A lot of things that like other people.
Well, neck cranks specifically are something that, I mean, you use them constantly, right? And I'm constantly getting torqued around. Anytime we roll that whole next week, my neck's killing me. But so I was definitely like, you know what? There's so many times that when I'm thinking about what I'm going to do next, or I'm not in an actionable position, that's what I should go for.
Yeah, and I kind of take back from when me and Greg would stick fight, and I got to a point when we would stick fight, like no matter what, if he came in, I would just like chuck the stick like back and forth at his torso, kind of like there will be a toll to pay every time, even if you're gonna crack me, like you're gonna at least get a 1-2.
This guillotine, I was so upset I wasn't able to sink in.
Yeah.
I had bad position at the beginning, and this is kind of like we've talked about before. Submission before position is kind of the direction I was going. Right.
Yeah.
I'm close to the neck. Let me lock down and see how long I can hold before I realize there's nothing to do.
It's very ingrained in me because it's one of the first things I was taught is just shoulders up, chin down. Someone goes for a choke, shoulder up, chin down, and really it can buy you so much time when you do it that way.
This is the other thing I was focusing more on this week, was keeping you in my guard once you got there.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks I was never big on locking my ankles up with closed guard.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I love about grappling with you. So when I go to open mat on the weekends, like some of the lower level guys, like they'll put me in their guard, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? Like they don't have that technique. And some of the better guys there, they're kind of like I don't say past that, they're moving on to other things. They want to try the other moves. So I'm kind of like in this weird position where like you're the only one that actually has good skills that will work from the guard, going against a skilled opponent, and they're working from the guard. So it's kind of
second escape.
Yeah, I'm like Houdini. So this is what I like here. You're cranking on my neck, and like I always kind of think of it like in terms of like you only got so many resources. You got 2 arms, 2 legs. You only can do so much with those. You only can so much offense, so much defense. And to put a neck crank on, granted, judging if it's an appropriate thing to do at that time, doing these little pressure moves, it takes away like a little bit. If I got 100% to work with, well, that eliminates maybe like 20% from my ability there. Okay, now I only got 80% to work with. So,
well, I think in mobility too, right? Like one of the things if you're gonna try and fish for a double wrist lock, right?
Yeah.
From the guard, you need the ability to shift around, to pivot left and right, and neck crank can be the thing that stands in the way of that.
Yeah, that's one thing I've not gotten good at all. Getting double wrist control when I have someone in my guard, because you got to break down their posture and it's very, very. Now if it's like
there's too many tells almost.
Yeah, it's pretty much. It's like they'd have to be dead tired or just someone that's brand new to it, But and you also did a lot better putting your weight on me, and that's one thing like a lot of wrestlers do. Yeah, like you just the whole time you make me have to like absorb the weight of your body, and you put that pressure on me, which is it's just tiring.
This is that real sloppy ankle lock.
Yeah,
I just wasn't gonna I kept trying to rake your knee out to bring you down, right? But you were kind of sprawled out a little bit too much for me to do it.
Yeah,
and to kick that arm out of you that you're using like a kickstand, it was just I would have had to let go of the lock.
One thing I do, and this is just from watching YouTube videos. That's where you got me with it. Is they said just put a lot of pressure down with your foot, kind of that position we're in.
Right.
Like, if I'm more over top of you, because eventually like I kind of go off to an angle, and that's when you're able to get it, but you're able to sink it more. It's just I put like a lot of that weight. So now you're instead of just my ankle you're working with, you got to move my whole body weight. It's the same thing like if someone comes up and bear hugs you and they pick you up, if you wrap your leg around their leg, it's that much harder for them to do anything with you because you're now like connected with them.
Well, one of the things, we talk about trying to get, more people in, or, some of the guys that have been here before to come back in.
Yeah.
And one of the things in the way our proportions line up, and I've taken advantage of it a little bit going into this, is I will shoot for ankle locks where I don't have my inside leg, I don't have in a good position, but I know I can pike you out with my arm and still reach your ankle, and then hopefully slide around.
Oh, dude, the days when because it does happen, because when I go to open mat, there's people that are actually literally smaller than me, and it's pretty crazy where it's so weird for me to actually be a stronger guy in a grappling match that, it's like Christmas morning for me. I'm sitting there, I'll hit tossing them, and I'll do like all these muscle moves. And I'm like, it's just because it's enjoyable to finally do it versus just getting grounded into the floor the whole time.
I tried this later because we mentioned it last time about the way I pull guard, about trying to pull into a butterfly guard and roll out into a mount. Wasn't quite quick enough when I did it.
Yeah, I just didn't have it in my legs today. They're all fucked up from just grappling so much that I was trying to roll you, and just wasn't gonna fucking happen. But see, that's the thing too, and I talked to Greg about this, is within reason and not being an idiot, still training when you're a little fucked up. Granted, if you just got stabbed in the face, you might not want to go a couple rounds of boxing, but right now, I got some soreness, I'm kind of injured, but still, you never know when you're going to get in a fight. You know what I mean? Still working with that and still train.
Sorry, but this right here is, you can't see it on the camera. Dan gets me in a triangle, but you had it in, right? And it was a good triangle, but I was still able to breathe, right? And I didn't feel the pressure to get out.
Yeah.
The slight adjustment that Dan did right at the end was he just pressed my nose into my arm.
Yeah.
And I couldn't breathe. It instantly got me. But a small adjustment made the biggest difference.
And I mentioned this to Ryan, I think it was right here, I was talking about it, that especially when it comes to chokes, not a joint lock or you're twisting an ankle where there's direct pain being associated with it. If you have someone that's determined and you have a choke on them but they can still breathe, they're gonna just tough it out. If they're still sucking in air, they don't want to lose. There's times when I've been in knee bars or arm bars, and I'm not getting paid for this. This is just training, and I'll be like, you know what? It's best I tap out. You know, my arm's freaking getting wrenched. It's not worth it getting snapped. Where when it comes to chokes, it's like, I'm going to fucking pass out.
Right.
So that's why it's important to, you know, even further identify these things. You know, one of the biggest things I learned a couple weeks ago, even though I guess you could say like relearned, I was going for a guillotine, and, you know, I just got it was just the one head guy at the school. I just got him in a guillotine, and I tapped out, and I was all proud of myself. And it was a couple rounds later, and I wanted to do it again, but I knew it wasn't the same. I didn't have it set up as good, and I was so determined to wrench this guillotine on that by the time, I probably went for like a straight 60 seconds. And by the time I finally gave up on it, my left arm was so dead. It went like pretty much numb, and it was just like I never grappled a day in my life, and you just twisted it and I tapped out. So I mean, you got to know when to pull out of a move too, because you'll exhaust yourself, you know, and then you're fucking worthless and you get your ass kicked. As Putin would say, we were weak and then we kept beating after that freaking school hostage thing. It's freaking hardcore. But just to bring up international affairs slightly. But now the one thing like that, and I think you'll see this later on to our 24 subscribers, is Ryan will start to throw submissions on to distract me. Like, he's becoming multi-layered now. It's no longer like Ryan going for an arm bar and that's his only thing. He'll throw an arm bar on here to get my ankle, or vice versa. Which that's like another level thing, because now it's so easy to grapple somebody that you're like, all right, this is the move they're going for. You can kind of be lazy with everything else. You know what I mean? And just, you know, address the issue, where now it's like, well, what else is he thinking? Because it's like, all right, you know, he's twisting my arm. He's done that before, but going for something else. And you got to start like assessing, kind of like what I go back to. You only got so many resources, and you got to dedicate them to different aspects of the role.
Well, you know, we've talked before about the mental aspect of this, right? Why it's engaging, right? There's strategy, and there's kind of some degree of long-term planning. You know that whatever technique you're moving for, whatever direction you're going in, there are set responses that are going to be available to that. But in another way, it's no longer that chess match, right?
Yeah.
Just because I made a move doesn't mean I have to wait for you to make a move.
Yeah.
And now it changes the game, right? If you can apply 2 or 3 techniques before I have a chance to really apply something, then by the time I go to apply something, I'm no longer positioned to, so I have to scrap that and go back to the drawing board.
It's like can I move multiple pieces on the chessboard.
Yep.
You can move a piece, and the clock's going, and then when that clock goes, you can move another piece while they're moving a piece.
Exactly, yeah.
And then you go nuts, and then you start just muscling shit. And so that's the one thing, like, I'm not against. Like, some people, like, more jiu-jitsu purists will be like, you know, it's not supposed to be about muscle, it's supposed to be all technique. But I'm like, it's just tools in a toolbox. There's times when, it's just, all I have to rely on right here is technique. I can't out-muscle my way of this. Where I don't have a problem with, like, in this situation, I can muscle that. Why not? Like, there's, this one famous grappler, freaking Marcelo Garcia, and he actually only trains, like, I mean, he's world champion 1,000 times over kind of thing. Like, he's beyond legit. He's considered one of the best ever. But he's gotten to a point now, he's like, well, I only do chokes. You know, I only do these type of chokes because they can work on anybody. And that's all he goes for. Is, depending if he's no gi or gi, they will vary slightly exactly what chokes he does. But he's like, no arm bars, no kimuras. It's all just any of these particular moves that can work on anybody. And I'm like, it's pretty crazy to be to that level where he can be like that. But at the same time, though, would you be that much better, though, if you're like still polishing all the tools in the toolbox? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's even so that's been one of the big things for me, is learning the appropriate application of strength. You know, there are times where by being able to throw a little bit more muscle into it, it'll make or break it. There are other times where it doesn't matter, right? Yeah,
and that's the one thing I remember I told you that the first time we rolled for this is you were, and I get this a lot because I'm a smaller guy. I grapple a bigger guy, and right away they just like, all right, I'm going to muscle him. And it makes it so easy because it's pretty much like their strategy is like muscle him. We'll figure it out because I'm bigger than him, and then once we muscle him down, we'll decide what to do. Whereas it's such blind grappling. It's not even really grappling. It's just moving straight forward. It's so easy to counter that. Well, now you've pretty much, that's gone. Like, you don't really, from just our second time we grappled, that was gone. It was more just and then asserting technique. And here you are neck cranking me. But you can see, you neck cranked me, and I had to address it, and then you went for my leg.
Yep.
And that's why I like doing things like that. Because, like, you know, the neck crank is a submission. It's, in that situation, I consider it an easy one to get out of, but if you don't get out of it, you're going to be submitted. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I like those. So sometimes you notice I'll grab your head, and I'll pull it into my knee. Technically, people can submit from that. But it's extremely easy to get out of, though, but you need to take that time to get out of it. And that's why I like to do those things, or like grind an elbow. Now, this is where I got you with the armbar.
Oh, yeah. And that was one of the times where I thought about trying to flex out of it. Right at the beginning, Dan armbarred me on my left arm, and right as he applied it, it wasn't quite there, and I felt my elbow slip to the outside where I was going to be able to flex it. Yeah. And then he twisted, and it locked right out. Yeah,
I try to be like very cautious when I lay like choke submissions. I'll be pretty more aggressive with because I know I'm not going to like snap anything.
Tail end of our last one.
Yeah, okay.
Dan about ripped my head.
Yeah, then I completely just become a hypocrite with that.
It sounded like a chiropractor visit. Dan loosens up. He's like, "Are you all right?" He's like, "Was that a tap?"
Yeah. Well, I did it at Open Mat last weekend. It's just the way I apply my guillotines. The instructor actually videotaped afterwards. He's like, "Show me how you do that." And maybe next time we roll, I'll just demonstrate it. And but I'll try to describe it now. And it's easy to describe from the guard. Like I have someone in my guard, and I just kind of do like a gable grip. And I take my forearm and I try to jam my forearm up through their neck while I am squeezing. But then I use like the upper part of my armpit to jam your head up through your asshole. So it's really like I'm cranking that neck as I choke it. But then I lock out with my legs just to make it that much more pressure. And the same thing, the guy popped his neck.
So I think here is where I was low, and that's where you went for the guillotine, and I was able to step out of it.
Yeah, right? I had zero success with that. You definitely...
Well, I could see it, watching it now, I realized I was getting low again.
Yeah.
There we go. Trying to roll from that.
This is where we go for like 10 minutes straight, I think.
Well, I think it's because it actually has a lot to do with the way that we got set up here, right? When you went to pull guard and when you went to roll me from the butterfly guard, we ended up getting. I have Dan's leg locked. I have his right leg locked up, which is why he can't get pressure on the choke here. Yeah. Otherwise, it would have gotten me.
Yeah.
But after this, we went for a volley of side controls. Right?
Yeah.
And like
we're going. Yeah. There was a lot of back and forth. So when that's when Greg was going to be up in January, and we're going to call it Battle Week, and we're going to try to fight all week. Dude, we try to do it for a weekend straight, and by Sunday we were freaking dead. So I don't know if we're going to be able to go all week. But it's like, can I invite people? I'm like, yeah, because I'm going to give everyone cameras, so we can finally get good footage. I should just buy another cheap fucking $80 camera. Yeah, that's how it costs me $80, and I got two tripods.
Now, man.
I'll just do that, and I'll just put one up on the other angle, just to make it better that way. But what were we talking? Oh, the guillotine. So yeah, I apparently have a really nasty way of doing it. That's not usually taught. So this is my carpet. But when I apply like joint locks and everything, I try not to wrench them because my complete mindset is it's training. I'm not here to hurt somebody. Remember, was it Dietz in the depth when we were joining the Marine Corps? Was the guy's name Dietz?
Dietz, yeah, Bobby Dietz.
Yeah, I remember. It was him. We were grappling. Me and Ryan stepped into the Marine Corps together when we were still in high school, and a recruiter was badass and have us fight all the time. So I'm fighting this guy named Dietz. He was wild, and I remember this is like I remember this because it was one of the first times I'm like, oh, I'm really gonna do an armbar. You know what I mean? Not like a slowly apply pressure. And I had him in some kind of lock, and he's trying to eye gouge me. And I remember like I was down on my back, and he like tried to like start raking my eyes and everything, and I just popped that arm around and just cranked it. And he tapped out because I was like, motherfucker. He was nuts, though. Oh, good old Staff Sergeant Ray. It's funny, so I know our roommate's joining the Air Force right now. And she was like, what was like when you depped in? I'm like, not the experience you're going to have. I'm like, we were fighting in mud pits out back of a strip mall.
Outside of a party city.
Yeah. I'm like, that's like... I should put a plaque there. Sorry about the... carpet, everybody.
So even if you don't get another camera, I know it's gonna guaranteed get rolled over by us, but maybe if we put the camera in the back corner, we wouldn't lose.
What if I just put like a little shelf up in the corner? Yeah.
Do it that way.
And then I could angle it. I could actually get the top of the tripod mount and screw it down so you can still angle it.
That would be like a security camera.
Yeah, well, I can
Like
just use
security
this camera.
footage?
Well,
That's
you know,
what
like,
I mean.
Yeah,
Like that angle.
just like that. Because I know we're gonna lose subscribers. 24, don't leave us. Well, there's a nice Bubba carpet. Oh my God, we were just over there grappling this whole time. Eventually, all of a sudden, we're just kind of like sprawl back into
Yeah,
the
that's basically
view.
how it goes.
So this is like in radio when there's like dead air. No dead air. No dead air.
Like I said, what's going on over here is a volley of side controls and cradles, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's one thing I was happy too. I was seeing you going for the cradle, and that's one thing I've been studying a lot more is the cradle because it's a very effective position.
you can move from it into other submissions.
Yeah,
very
and you
easily.
have very good control of the person. It's definitely, I consider it, ooh, there's a foot. I consider it more of a muscle position. You know what I mean? Like to get into it, you gotta, at least for me because I'm smaller.
No, you do, and so even when I'm trying to use it with you, I think I've done it before when we've rolled. But what happened is you would just sprawl, right? You'd extend out, and I can't hold it, right? Like my arms aren't going to hold your legs from kicking out.
Yeah.
And I think just like we said about timing before, as soon as you get someone into cradle, it's just like a neck crank. It's a great starting position, but you already need your next move in line. You're either going to move north or south, have it picked out. So as soon as they go to spread out, they're going to, in the course of spreading out, they're going to lift the chin. They're going to extend the legs. They're going to put you in great position. But if you don't know which direction you're going,
I'll send you
you're just there.
I'll send you some videos about it's the one channel Ronin Submissions. He has a whole 6-minute video about submissions from cradle, get someone in a cradle and how to submit them from the cradle. Normally a neck crank or pressure, something like that. But he actually briefly describes the reason a lot of BJJ guys don't do it. It's no points. If I get side control and I do knee on belly and post my leg out, I just got a ton of points. Versus cradle, you get a lot more control, but it's no points, so people don't train it, which, fuck that. So, we were actually just taking a break over here. We were tired, we had some beers and some sushi, and
We
we're
want
just chilling.
everyone to think that we can go for a 9-minute roll. But
Yeah. But so this is how I like it. There it is. I saw a shadow. So I know when Greg comes up, we'll probably get a few people over, but there's really no one else right now that really has expressed any serious interest.
Floyd's schedule opened up. Floyd had a wedding last night, though. That's why he's not down here today. But his schedule opened wide up. So hopefully we'll have at least one more for our next session, which with any luck could be next Saturday if you're able, because I'll be back.
Yeah, I should be able to.
Still off work.
Yeah, it'd have to be more towards the evening
That's
time.
fine.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can get one more. And just like you said, it's not just about getting another camera, which would be nice because then you wouldn't just be watching.
I know, this is horrible.
Weird feed that we've got from Dan's basement. But but also that variety, for the past month and change, the only person I've rolled with is Dan.
I know.
And my dog. So
bring the dog.
Yeah, so getting
I got my battle pug.
Yeah, getting somebody else in here to roll with would tools in the toolbox, right? They're coming with a different set.
Yeah. So, because I know the one guy like Tony just wants a rematch, and I'm like, it's not the same thing. Like, all right, bring it down here.
I was talking with somebody about that this past week. I went to this event, and there's an appropriate mindset for this kind of training, and then there's an inappropriate mindset. And if the words win or lose come into your mind, that's the inappropriate mindset. The idea is, Dan asked me earlier in this video, how often do you study? And I spend my week. I hit YouTube a couple times during the day, just small stuff. But the idea is when I come, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Every double wrist lock that I attempt to apply is a learning opportunity. I'm learning my positioning, right? Where across the joint does it need to be? Every time I get neck cranked, how long do I want to hang here? How am I going to press it out? Dan getting the arm bar on me, making sure that my elbow flares as soon as an arm bar gets thrown on, so that if it rolls out, not in.
Oh, it's a shame. I don't think we were going to get on cameras when you actually went for the arm bar. Remember? And it sucks too because it was actually the way I defended. Like I just pretty much crowded you, and then I got that elbow. As soon as I got the freaking elbow, I'm like, all right, I'm good. But the one thing you did a lot, and hopefully we get to see it, is at one point you went for like a scissors, like a loose triangle.
It might be coming up.
Yeah, and we're back.
Well, with the arm bar too, I told you I I'm nursing this. I'm way out of my depth with it, but I'm nursing this love affair with the bicep slicer.
Yeah, and I kind of noticed a little.
I was waiting for it.
I noticed a hint of one. Yeah, I noticed a hint of one, and so it's funny because you brought him up last time or a couple of training sessions ago, like you showed one. So I watched a few videos on them just to be like, well, if Dowd's studying it, Dowd's gonna live it. I should be aware of these. So, because they're pretty nasty. So I noticed. I'm like, oh, he's going for a bicep splicer.
And when you hooked in on the arm bar, right?
Yeah.
You crowded up on me. I was thinking if I had a little bit more space to get my leg or more hip mobility. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah. My right hip's nothing but knots because I can't stretch it because my ligament here. So there we go. This is pretty much what happened in the corner. Oh, this is it. You're going for the bicep splicer here, or at least a hint of one. Yeah, because if you got your leg over,
right?
Yeah. But I know, I'm like, he's fucking going for bicep splicer. So I kind of went into remember I talked about, you only get so many resources. I'm like 90% resource, get the fuck out of the bicep splicer. I don't want that. So, no, because I really hope to, if I just had 2 more regular people, turn this more into, this is a regular thing for us, but just a normal, regular, hey, there's this guy and this is where he trained, an actual, more legit thing, which it is now. You're definitely ready, because I could talk to Norm. You're definitely ready to swing by open mat, as long as the hardest thing is scheduling. Oh my god, I know.
Well, and the way they do my work schedule is awful. Yeah, my work schedule is the biggest. It's actually why I didn't come down last week, was because my day off is immediately followed by an opening. And, I've got an hour and change drive home.
Yeah.
So if I come down here at 6 to grapple, we're done by 8, 9. I'm not home till 10, 11.
Well, that's one thing. The one school I train at, he only can do regular classes at night, which doesn't work for my schedule at all. And the weekend, he works for PSE&G or some energy company, and he's pretty high up to where he gets that phone call hey, dude, you gotta get your ass in here. There was one time I was actually up in Swedesboro.
This is wrestling with.
Yeah, this is the arm.
The arm bar.
Yeah. It's funny because I thought the arm bar led to the bicep slicer. Yeah, see, I'm going for a cradle here. I love cradles. I'm going to get better at them. And this is where I like how you counted
This is the sloppy triangle.
Yeah. I felt pretty secure in there.
Well, for me, this was thinking time, right?
Yeah. I was more worried about, I knew you were going to get me with the triangle. I was more worried about, what else you were going to do kind of thing. I
actually had no idea. I was in the same boat, which is I didn't want to attempt to roll back and shrimp out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to offer you my ankle on the way. I didn't want to run the risk of you.
And that's one of the reasons why I started going for your legs more. Because I kind of realized, just like any type of combat situation. I know, it's fucking cool. What we'll do is dude, we're fucking idiots. You know that couch right there? Just angle it like that.
And create a wall.
Make the ring a little smaller. Anyway, 10 freaking videos later. Just limit the space. Because we don't really need that much space to roll. Anyway. So, I kind of realized, if I never ever... And because I have gotten you in, ankle picks before and stuff. If I never go for them, though, you're just going to start to become... Just all right, don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
So now, I'm pretty much telling you, I'm actively going to go after, knee bars and ankle locks now. And start studying them more.
So, I do, I take this seriously. During my week, I study up, and then I've got things that I want to learn through on my way. And I know that, likewise, you want to use an opportunity to test out new techniques. Yeah. And the last time we rolled, you did that. You opened up the volley of things that were coming my way.
Yeah.
And it challenged me quite a bit.
That was you this time.
This time, I noticed that you fell back to your triangles a lot. And that for me was it said, okay, I'm going in the right direction. If Dan's shooting triangles, it means that he wants to get that, right?
Yeah.
Versus getting experimental and creative.
Yeah, and what it is, you were definitely challenging the hell out of me this time. And I also I've talked about my mindset before with things. Here I am just going for whatever I can get with your legs.
We're tired as hell at this point.
God,
too.
I know.
We're kind of falling on each other.
Yeah, this is when there's less technique and more just slop. But a lot of it, too, though, is, I know that you're trying new things, and I know, you're probably feeling more confidence. So I never like to, when I say, I'll just throw things up there, it's not, literally just haphazardly. I do, if I throw a triangle up there, I do want the triangle. Right. But I always have a mindset, keep working. Yeah. Keep attacking. And it was hard, but this really tested it because we were exhausted, we were tired. But it's go for a sweep, try to roll them over, go for a submission, go for a double wrist lock, do something. Just don't flop around and lay there. And so I was tired. I'm kind of beat up right now, and I'm like, hey, you know how to do a triangle. Freaking just go with old Bessie, push her out of the garage, fire her up, and just start chucking triangles up there.
I think, we've talked about it in a past video too, is the fact that, the first roll that you've got about 30 seconds, 45 seconds in your first roll where you're dry, you're clean, you're limber, and you can apply good technique very easily. And then by this point, you're tired. We're both soaked in sweat. You slide right off of each other.
Yeah.
It becomes neck crank fest.
I know. That's I should get a tattoo. I neck crank bitches. So this is like just a sloppy.
This is why I started doing this again. This is one of those muscle.
Yeah, that was good right there with the leg though. Where you
back.
Yeah, where you put your leg on my arm. And then what you actually do is I'll show you next time you step, and then you like push out like that. The problem is it leaves you open for an ankle lock. They call it like a desperation move. Everything's locked in, so you just push off with your leg, but you pretty much expect then to get the ankle scooped up. But so I think that's what I'm going to be studying. I'm going to be doing more leg stuff and just keep working cradles because I really love the concept. I love the control you get with a good cradle. Versus I'm a smaller guy, and that's probably why I like them more because I like. Me doing side control and mount, especially on bigger opponents, it's like, all right, I feel like I'm riding a wild horse. Like, this is great. I got top control, but it's very hard for me to maintain it.
Gotta be close to it here.
I know.
I see where you can.
It's more of a neck crank, I think, too, than it was like a choke. Yeah, you're going for the Kimura. Let's see here. Pop out of it. We were both so tired, I can barely even remember. I might check a triangle up again. But here I'm tired. I'm like, all right. Remember to lock your ankles. I can barely lock my feet. I was trying for, but no, it's not coming up yet. We might have like a minute or two left. But this is where I got to remind myself, close the freaking guard. Because you know what, we're both tired, but it's one more thing you got to fight out of. Even if you're too tired to really keep that guard, well, guess what? Throw it up there. It's another puzzle piece you got to deal with. That's one thing I always tell them is keep working, even if it's just like feints. Because I know, because I threw up a lot of triangles, I knew sometimes, because you probably know the setup, I'll take your wrist. So there's times, I'll just do that. So I'm like, you might think I'm doing a triangle. I'm really just tired. I need him just to worry about that. Yeah, here it is. I just really more like neck crank it. Yeah, I just torqued it. Yeah, so that's it, everybody. Thank you. Sorry for the carpet. I promise we'll... have a better angle next time. Because if you just put that couch right there.
Maybe if you mount the camera flat on the wall. But anyway.
Yeah, so. But thank you to all our 24 subscribers. I'll have the video up probably tonight. Here I am limping. I freaking busted ass leg. But alright, everybody. Take it easy.
Yeah.